Well, Trumper is very much set and based in the city. That's his zone, his area. And he, within the city, is in charge of collecting up all the stray animals. So he really has a big problem with Shaun and the flock when they arrive. The operating scene is one of the ones, when I read the script, that I really, really loved the sound of. I've always enjoyed animating Becher, and he's great in so many situations because I feel like I know his character quite well. I know how he would react, and so seeing him dressed as a doctor or a surgeon in an operating theatre just felt like such a brilliant setup for some comedy. As animators, in a way, we're cast into particular roles, and although on the film we might animate all the characters, there are probably certain strengths that we have. And I hope that one of my strengths is character comedy, visual comedy. One of my favourite things about working on Shaun as an animator is seeing those sheep and the other farm animals in random situations. And of course all of it's visual. We don't really have any dialogue in the film to work on. So it all comes down to the director and animator deciding how a particular scene will be played. And that's quite liberating as an animator, because it means you don't rely on an actor, you're doing all the performance yourself. When we started shooting, the first few shots, we spent a lot of time checking them, seeing how they translated. We went to the cinema to see how they looked on the big screen. As we got further into the film, you know, we've worked out what we do and don't need to do differently to the series. So on a series we're working quicker, the animation is faster. On the feature film we'll spend a bit longer with our sculpting, and also spend longer on the performance to try and find all those emotions. We're just very aware of the scale. So although some of the shots might be less than a second on screen, we spend much longer on this process, just making sure all the set dressing, all the puppets and the final animation is to a higher level. So hopefully the audience in the cinema feel like they've seen a real feature film. I think Golly's got a brilliant kind of visual style, and he's really good at humour and comedy. So he's thought of lots of off-the-cuff random things, like a farmer spraying shaving foam in his face. And Golly will quite often come up with an idea just before you start shooting that ends up being a great gag in the film. And Mark has got his head completely around the story and the characters, so he's been very clear about what direction he feels they should go in, and also he's good at comic timing, so he's been quite fun to work with from that aspect. Shaun's a really complicated puppet to work with in a way, because he is quite simple in his design. He has hard head and hard eyes. So really we've got to get everything that we normally do with the plasticine brow, we have to get all of that out of his eyes and ears and the position of his head.